All right, guys, here I talk about the movie Halloween. 1978's Halloween, Lee. I would be pretty shocked if you hadn't seen this.
No, I had. I just, like, so long I probably forgot or something.
Yeah.
One of those movies, yeah.
Honestly, hot take here, it's kind of a forgettable movie. Like, I know
It kind
some
of
people
is.
really love it.
Yeah.
To me, Mike Myers is like the worst of the slasher, villains.
No, he absolutely is, because I have my weird, like, paranormal spectrum where Freddy is therefore on top and Jason's in the middle, because sometimes he has powers and sometimes he doesn't. I definitely don't like the Halloween, like, series or whatever, but going back to the first one, I thought was really refreshing. I am nostalgic for John Carpenter and certain stuff and everything. I would say that it's slow and like whatever has whatever old, it feels like noticeably old to me. But I was like, oh, it's a good. I had like a nice reaction.
I agree.
To it.
They give you
But,
the banger soundtrack. Honestly, is all
There
it
we
needs.
go. But that, I mean, it's one of those things what I'd forgotten, because I'm used to this like parody of like, and Rob Zombie's doing stuff, but those aren't connected. That's a sequel to the second and a half one, and I'm like, what the fuck? Everything's so crazy, right? And this is such a simple where I'm like, ooh, but I like it, but it also sucks. I'm like, ooh, this is so, it's like hearing like a really old record where you're like, oh, it's this old David Bowie thing. I'm like, this is groundbreaking. I'm never listening to this again. It kind of sucks, right? It has like that vibe.
This is like the
but
crippled foundation of the whole Halloween franchise.
Yeah, but I don't like a lot of what's been built upon it. So here I'm like, oh, is this little
It's
cool
just a
thing.
wild to think this movie
so far
made so much. Even just how much money this movie made. Like, that's crazy.
The journey is what's so wild, because a movie in this series just came out like yesterday.
Yeah.
And this is like the seventh. It's a rare prior to 1980 release date for us. Where it's like, how old is this? This is older than literally everyone. Yeah. It's wonderful.
All right, guys, if you've seen it or don't care, false over to spoilers, and if not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
All right, here we are for the spoilers of Halloween. Lee, let me hear them spoiler-filled thoughts of this old movie.
Well, you've stacked the deck there. I don't know how.
Well, I think I said before that this is my least favorite of all slasher movies, Halloween franchise.
You mean of the big three series, or just like what is your? There's a lot of movies.
Well, I won't say just the big three. Certainly the big three. Sure. But like I like Chucky more than this.
You stupid bitch! You filthy slut!
I would put Mike Myers at the bottom of the big three: the Jason, Freddy, Mike.
Squarely.
People are crazy.
I get into fights all the time about this.
What
movie.
is wrong
about
with
the
them?
franchise itself? But I think particularly this movie, I just think I'm jumping the gun here, but I just think he's not a well fleshed out character.
He's not a character.
So many times, like Loomis is like, oh, I could just see the devil in his eyes, and I knew that he was evil and he couldn't be saved.
I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
But then later he'll be like, I met him at the age of 6.
I met this 6-year-old child.
And then like he's like, he hasn't spoken in 15 years. And I'm like, he could literally have not told you anything.
You haven't anything to worry about. He hasn't spoken a word in 15 years.
He essentially says the man like lies motionless. I'm like, where does the evil come from? Why do you think he's evil? Why did you know this was going to happen?
He killed his babysitter that one time.
Yeah, when he was 6 apparently, and he looked like he was 9.
Okay, and then I'm not here to defend this film. You sound very angry.
No, but what I'm saying is, yes, the boy killed someone, but
No.
I also believe that we have a whole thing where like, oh, when children do things, we seal their records and we try to rehabilitate them.
Now that's only if we don't know that they're evil. I had the same reaction watching this or trying to watch this entire series, right?
Yeah.
Because again, I know I say this multiple times in these reviews, but when lightning struck Jason's grave and he came back and then he's fighting a psychic lady, I was like, well, now we're talking. Then he goes to space, then he fights Freddy. Everything's awesome.
They have those elements in the Halloween franchise. He's like brought back from the dead. The voodoo guy like saves him or whatever. Like it all kind of blends together. I honestly didn't like the franchise.
Was that in H2O? What is that in? The series is fraught is the word that I would use, because they tried different things in the middle that people are like, we don't like this, go back the other way, right?
One of the rare times where you do cut out whole middles and go, no, we went from here to here.
Yeah, we're just gonna start over. We're gonna go back a step and be like, I don't know, man.
And I respect that.
Yeah, it's fine.
But like as I was gonna say, it's like I didn't like the franchise until it got the reboot treatment and you had the Rob Zombie do it, and people shit on that because I guess it's not like the originals. But I think The only time this character is scary is when he's a 7-foot-tall fucking monster.
God damn, I wouldn't want to bum the freak out.
Sorry about these chains, Mikey.
When he bursts through a wall, I'm like, yeah, that monster would burst through the fucking wall.
Yeah.
In this one, he's holding like a weapon. I'm like, you're a little string bean. How are you doing that?
The power of evil, Stefan.
I hate that, but that's what it is.
No, it must be, and that's what I also don't like. I think the Rob Zombie ones were fine. I like any reimagining or like attempt to like bring something new to something. Like by the end, I was kind of like whatever. But I think
the first one much better than the second one.
Mike Myers is kind of whatever to begin with or something to me. So it's hard to even care to go there or something like that. But yes, I do think like I don't know. What do you?
Yeah.
I don't hate it that, like, it's not like bad. I don't need him to be, like, they dance back and forth between it's the power of evil and he's just a guy, but I know he's evil or something like that. So it's hard for me. Not that I don't know the rules and I hate it. I just don't know, like, what to expect or I don't know what the fuck
it's
to care
mainly
about
that they're so, like, it's to not build it up, to shoot him point blank with a full, like, 5 shots? I'm like, I don't care where he hit you. That's 5 shots. And then he fell out of a window and landed on the ground. Maybe on your neck. You could be a paraplegic. Christopher Reeve fell from a horse this tall. Like, anything could happen.
What
and
if he, what if they...
picture of he's like, power of evil, he's fine.
Yeah, they shot him, but the evil, it just hit him in the evil everywhere.
Bounced off his evil.
No, the evil gets stuck in the evil. You got to pry it out later.
Well, like little things, like he's shot with a gun, and it doesn't stop him, like, really at all. He was stopped longer being stabbed with a sewing needle. And I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Knitting needle, please.
Is he acting? And that's, I think, part of it too, is I never understand exactly where I'm like, okay, is he injured right here? Is he playing? Okay, he sits up like he's the Undertaker. Okay, I guess he's fine.
No, the Undertaker sits up like he's Mike Myers, please. Don't be ridiculous. That goes back to not, like, quote unquote knowing the rules or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And like it's fine to never get like a definitive answer, but yes, like in this one, my like complaints, I guess, and I go back and forth because I do kind of like some of the stuff, but there's some complaints where she just kills him in the closet, kind of. But then he's like, she hits him with the knitting needle, and then she, starts doing stuff in the closet, and you think he's dead again.
She's like MacGyver with that goddamn coat hanger. She's like, all right, hang on.
When she was when she was folding the coat hanger, I was like, oh, wait a minute, I thought, like, in my mind, that's like a memory of like a parody of like, and then she gets a boot and hits him with a boot, and then there's like a rubber ducky, and you're like, wait, you're in the closet?
It's a scary movie.
Yeah, it feels like Scary Movie for her to have like the coat hanger like that and stuff. I was not a fan.
And you're like, is she gonna mommy dearest her? What is gonna happen here?
From wire hangers.
But like pokes him in the eye and then like drops the.
But then he's not.
She had the knife. Did she get the knife from poking him in the eye, or did she have the knife the whole time? Because she like pokes him in the eye, steps over his limp body. Drops the knife and walks away, and I'm like, God damn you, bitch. God damn you.
I think she gets the knife on the couch when he goes for her, but then it's the usual, like this was like was this the first?
It's old.
It's old.
I'll say it's not. Nothing's ever the first.
Nothing is the first. No. But is this so old that that some of these critiques would just like bounce off of like we didn't know yet.
Well, I think it's a fragiler time and people are scared of a lot less. And I do think it does. There are elements here that are great. Sure. Like I think the little boy being scared of the boogeyman but not knowing who it is, I think is relatable.
Lori, what's the boogeyman?
Where, like, as a child, you heard something, you're like, oh, the blah, blah, and you make a mental picture of something, and that's what that is now, and you're scared of it, and he's scared of this boogeyman, and he sees Mike Myers, like, that is the boogeyman.
Lori's out there. Hold on. Lori, the boogeyman is outside, look.
That's what we have
That
here.
must be the boogeyman.
And he does do some cool, like,
Who else?
standing out and popping away and doing things throughout the movie. There's a lot of those effective moments.
We didn't mention any of the iconic, the guy's standing over there. Again, scary movie when she looks away and he's like, oh, fuck, and has to, quickly run to, like, hide or whatever. That's always good to imagine.
That's part of it, too, is that these
at
parodies and just years of being old has taken the piss out of a lot of this stuff for us.
Yes,
and we're used to so much scarier, graphic things.
But there are a few scenes, towards the end mostly. One is when her friend's on the phone, and then Mike Myers is just like standing in the back window.
My parents are gone.
Oh, that's fabulous. When did they leave?
About a half hour ago.
Oh, utterly fantastic.
And then even when she's like across the street screaming, "Let me in, let me in." And you see Mike Myers, but it's so dark that you're just seeing like part of the side of the shadow of the face, but you know it's him. And he's just walking all slowly, and you're like, oh, it's like a scary movie. It has that sort of vibe. So some of those made me feel the nostalgic, like, I like this. There's something here. I could see why this became a thing, maybe.
It's like the problems that get me, where I'm like, okay, if you've been in like a psychiatric prison your whole life, just knowing how to drive is weird. Like, and I understand you've seen it before. They mentioned maybe somebody taught him.
For God's sakes, he can't drive a car. He was doing very well last night. Maybe someone around here gave him lessons.
They didn't. Like,
well, no. Yeah. But they say, how does he even know how to drive? One of you people must have screwed it up. But like, that's the thing, is like, they don't know why, like, oh, he's this inscrutable evil
power
force.
of evil.
The power of evil is like, oh, okay, this pedal does this, right? And you're like, thank you.
Even this whole thing, what are we to believe the opening of this is? So like, he broke out, freed all the crazies, killed all the guards, and waited.
He's gone. He's gone from here. The evil is gone.
Because if he killed all the guards, he could have just taken their cars.
He waited to break a window with the palm of his hand.
It was the weirdest strike, and I have to believe it's because it's breakaway glass, but it's before that was like the safest thing ever. So the person's trying to like get away from the hit and not get cut by it.
They don't want to be through the threshold when the glass falls
I
down.
think so.
It has to be something.
It's very goofy.
Because that can't be like, oh, that's how you break a window.
Yeah.
Like, no.
No, his whole thing. Even seeing his face in this, you're like, hey, you goofy little bitch.
But like a lot of that stuff in the early things, it is such an old movie that it feels creepier. Like because they're not doing the fake nighttime lighting that modern movies do.
Yeah, it is night. Yeah.
So you're just seeing like the headlights sweep the like insane asylum people or something. Also
in the middle of like a thunderstorm.
Yeah, it's like pelting rain everywhere. Also the suburbs shots. I'm just gonna fill in the little things that I'm like, this isn't bad. I like this like the suburbs. There's all these shots of like sliding around, following Laurie, walking from place to place, and the streets are often like deserted, which is a real like a highly underrated concept in the suburbs, where you're like, oh yeah, everyone's like inside or out somewhere.
A little weird for Halloween, though.
Whatever. Well, but this is all taking place on this like one a day or whatever. But she's walking around. I like that later. Mike Myers is doing his peekaboo routine or whatever, but they still film it earlier kind of a similar way, where it plays the foreboding music and it slides, and like the different trees and houses are like screening different stuff as she's walking by. It's the parallax effect, and your brain is kind of like, no, okay, fine, and you're sort of like thinking about, and then you walk outside of your own house and you go, oh, there's a guy there. So like I can see where 100 years ago this provided the scary thought, vibes to people or whatever. It is tame by today's standards, obviously. But
it's weird. Her house.
Oh yeah.
It's like the garage doors are sided the same as the house itself, and it's just like it strikes you as just such a weird thing.
Camouflage.
I don't know what the deal with that, especially
like
her dad's a realtor.
And then like the bat cave is underneath. It like pops up a thing.
Something. I like the part where the girl goes into the car. She's gonna pick up her boyfriend, and she's like, oh. It's foggy from the inside. That's fucking weird. And it's because Michael's been sitting in there for God knows how long, and his hot-ass breath has just fogged up the windows.
They fucking mic'd up some breathing, and they're into it. They keep playing that when he's doing stuff.
Him killing that girl, though, nobody has ever wanted to live less than that girl. She does not fight back in any way that could ever save you from any injury.
Okay, because he strangles her at first, and then he gives up and stabs her, I think, right? It's very silly. Oh, thank you.
Please.
Yeah. Oh, we have to talk about what I had forgotten completely.
What do you got?
Perhaps the best death, which is to me, it's like the Beetlejuice fake ghost, real ghost joke or something. When after he kills the guy that he lifts up,
pins
him
to the wall with a knife. That doesn't appear long enough to do what it did, but whatever.
Obviously. But it's one of those things, and it even cuts wide where they're like, look, he's hanging. It's great, or whatever. But then he puts the glasses on over the sheet. I was like, that's so funny. That's so stupid.
And she's like already there, ready for round 2. And I'm thinking, he's going to get some Revenge of the Nerds action because he's like a 26-year-old virgin. He's ready.
Why didn't he go for it?
I don't know.
What the fuck?
You're that nerd.
Yeah.
Weird.
He's still a virgin.
I love, though, in the very beginning, to cut way back, like he's watching from the window with the boyfriend and his sister, and they go upstairs, and like in the time it takes him to walk inside, woo, all right, kid, I'll see you later. That was fun. Yeah,
he's like putting the bottom of his shirt back down.
Yeah,
I gotta go.
Will you call me tomorrow?
Yeah, sure.
Promise?
Yeah.
Call me tomorrow.
But it's literally he's a Minuteman. Like that's the funniest.
Let's go upstairs.
Okay.
He walks through, the back door is just open.
Yeah.
Like in this movie,
70s.
doors are open all the time.
You need to close your doors.
Like when you're scared, when you're not, doors are just open. We walk into other people's houses, we just leave the doors open.
Annie, we're here.
Wonder where they went.
Oh, Annie probably took Lindsay out for something.
Car doors are left open. Like, and that's a classic like TV and movie trope.
Yeah, I was gonna
you
say,
just walk into houses.
you were raised to close
open.
doors like some sort of weirdo.
It's just wild.
But in movies, no one closes doors.
Speaking of some kind of weirdo, I love when the girl's like, "Help! I'm stuck! Help, stepbrother! I'm stuck in the window!
Pull my foot! I'm stuck!
Pull my leg!"
Oh no, we need to get me unstuck before mom gets home.
Hilarious.
Well, you've been stuck in a lot of places too. Since we just talked about it, that long POV shot is also effective. That's cool. I could see that being a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they use, I think you hear breathing there too, so it ties it together later, as if you'd be like, it's not really him, but it.
I do like that long POV, and
like
when
that.
he turns into his own backyard and it's like so dark, you're like, wow, it's weird to think like this 6-year-old must be trouble because I feel like no 6-year-old wants to be in that. Like I didn't even like running to the basement when the lights are off because it was like fucking weird. The idea of like going out there and like doing his business and like why is he even out there? How's no one noticed him? You're babysitting this kid terribly. That's why he's a murderer because you suck at raising kids.
It's your fault. Oh no.
And
then when the parents get home and like it cuts to like he takes off the mask. This is iconic too. I think this has been in like sizzle reels or like go back to the movies. Remember movies, folks?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like him in the front thing with the lights and stuff. The mom just like puts her hands in her pockets.
She gives him a face like you did it again.
Oh
like,
no.
The parents don't talk at all.
They
and it holds on them in such a weird way. And you know that because we've made movies.
Okay.
You know that it's because you didn't give them more instructions, so they just stopped doing their thing.
I was just gonna say, okay, perfect.
And that's exactly what that is. And it's so bad. Your son is holding a bloody knife, and you're not reacting like a human being whatsoever.
It feels almost like it should have been like a freeze frame in the storyboard or something. But like it's like a crane shot, right? Or like a some other similar.
Yeah, some sort of dolly thing.
But it's doing something where it's like this long shot that pulls out in this dramatic way. Where you forgot to tell the actors to be doing a loop so that they'd be moving.
Yeah.
Like checking his face. What are you doing? And like
the dad should have grabbed the knife. The mom should have picked him up. They should have ran inside.
Okay, while it's like pulling up. Even if you wanted them there, have one of them like grabbing the kid trying to talk to him, have the other one kneeling and being like, oh no, have a neighbor run over. Put something in there. Because okay, good. I thought I was crazy where you were going to be like, they don't move. But that's crazy, right? That they don't do anything.
It's insane, especially with what it is. It's the middle of the night. Your son's outside with a bloody knife.
Yes. You would think that she's going to run over and do something or whatever. And they don't even like stand back and tighten up like, what's going on?
The mom has resting bitch face. She's like...
she's literally like, oh, home alone again. That's her like response. Kevin. Yeah, it makes no sense.
Kevin!
I love it. Probably just some kids. That was like the story of the 70s. Anytime like, looks like this woman was crushed to death and there's a giant handprint through her face. Oh, probably some teenagers drinking and getting up to no good.
Those kids are up to no good. That's a great scene too, because this is like a theme I'm noticing in these early horror movies is often like somebody's dad is like literally a cop.
Bye, girls.
Bye, Dad.
Bye.
Yeah.
So you're doing this weird game with the authority figures where you're like, that just double count that guy. You're in trouble either way. I don't give a fuck. It's a weird economy to it that I really like, that I thought was goofy in like more recent things that are lampooning the genre, like Scream or whatever. Or like, how do you fucking know a cop? That's crazy. It's like, oh no, I guess everyone's fucking. It's fine.
Statistically, every cop has family and friends.
That's what I'm saying. So it's kind of fine, you know. But it's interesting.
Daddy, you use me.
What the hell were you doing going to school today for anyway?
That too, when they go up and like they talk to the cop dad or whatever.
Yeah.
They've been just smoking pot, I think.
Yeah,
and
or at the very least a cigarette. Like they're smoking something that they don't want the dad to know about.
My dad! Get rid of this!
They share a cigarette earlier, but they were smoking this time with gusto. So I thought that they were smoking pot this time, because what you're talking about afterwards is like, oh, he knows, oh shit, he smelt it on.
I think he knew. I'm sure he could smell it. No, he didn't.
There's a little line where I'm
like, they pulled up to him with the windows
Yeah.
open. Like, I don't know what they thought. They could have just not stopped and it would have been fine.
Lori?
Hi, Dad. What happened?
What?
What happened?
Oh, somebody broke into the hardware store. Probably kids.
But she's doing the great kid of like, we're not doing anything wrong, hello? She's like yelling back at her dad, and they have a nice exchange where he's like, it's too obnoxious, you couldn't possibly be hiding anything, obviously. Yeah. So I had a nice like, it's a cute little moment in the...
I like that character, honestly, better than I like Lori.
The chick, yeah, me too. Yeah.
I don't dislike Lori, but or things like speed kills, asshole, and I'm like, okay.
Hey, jerk! Speed kills!
Is this the fact that he doesn't know how to drive and he accidentally hits the brake there? Because he couldn't have heard her say that. That's ludicrous.
Power of evil in the hearing.
Power of evil.
You can hear
it's amazing how it can do anything.
It can do anything you want, or whatever you don't want.
Yeah.
It's versatile and everything. No, her like crew, those like three friends are very funny. Has a weird, not mean girls, but they're very much different types, and that's cute and funny to go back to because it's like nostalgic of the time. We're like, oh, I remember when people were people. I don't.
Why didn't you wait for me?
We did. 15 minutes. It totally never showed.
That's not true. Here I am.
Who spills like shit on their dress and goes, I better strip naked in someone else's house while I'm babysitting?
No, I just made a mess of myself. I gotta call you back. Oh, yuck!
Lindsay, I need a rope.
I mean...
Well, like, you've done that, but I mean, like, how many people do that?
I mean, statistically, how often? Yeah. And she's even, people say things sometimes like they're a thing, and if the movie's old, like if the movie's new, I'm like, that's not a thing. You're making that up. But if it's old, I'm like, that might have been a thing. Like there's no cell phones, you can't arrange. So like you're like, I'm here now. I'll use your washing machine. I don't have to text them and act. Like I'm doing it.
Yeah,
I'm my own
problem
person
with the washing machine, or even changing into it. It's a little weird putting the dad's clothes on because I feel like that opens you up to some weird shit depending on who comes home when and what. But it's the nature of I'm here right now in the kitchen, better strip down. Like that's one of those things where like it's nudity just for the sake of nudity.
Yes. And then we see Mike's looking at her from outside.
Yeah, of course.
Fine. But yes, functionally, I
Mike's
understand.
whole thing is weird too. Like
he's not a great guy.
Well, like. Lori is only marked for death because she dropped a key off at his house, right? That's like their whole thing.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, so
it's just like a dumb connection.
They're not brother and sister.
I think they get retcons to be related.
Like, they're not brother and sister yet, or they aren't again, but they were in the middle briefly, I think.
Yeah.
And without that, I didn't even think about that, because that's one of the problems too, when the movie has had 10 movies, you start to like borrow and pick up little tidbits where you're like, yes, long lost twin brother of Mike Myers, and it's like, that's not
Yeah, whatever the fucking bullshit is. Again, this franchise doesn't leave a lot of things for me because like I at the end of the day, I'm not really passionate about it. They all kind of blend together. I'm like, is Busta Rhymes in this one? No.
No.
That's true. Oh no. The series took some turns.
It took a lot of turns.
I just need this one thing.
Mom, I am not responsible for you.
So there's like a grand reveal of all the deaths that this man did. At one point, you do see him carrying a dead body into the house and stuff. So you're like, okay, things are happening. We're addressing that he does move things and stuff happens. But like the way the things are revealed, and like what does that dead guy swing in from? He's in those, like, what I can only picture were popular in, like, the late 70s, early 80s, those, like, workout boots that had hooks on them, and he's on, like, a pull-up bar. Like, I don't know what that's supposed to be what it is.
But they can also be used with the Teeter Hang-Ups Easy Up Inversion and Chin-Up Rack.
That's funny because that almost must be it, and I would have thought of that too, and been like, you can't explain that concept. Oh, he's wearing the moon boots you would hang from the ceiling on in the doorway.
Like gravity boot, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's done, almost as dumb as like that jump scare of like the thing breaking. It's like, oh, it broke at this exact moment. And swings there so our boy can say, I have a gun, look, I have a permit, I carry my little card.
Oh, I do have a permit.
I hate it whenever we cut away back to Loomis and that.
I hate Loomis.
Oh, what a hot fucking take. What?
It's your funeral.
I like the actor a lot. I think he's great. I just think like the character is so underwritten, and I'm like, what even is he? Because like again, you don't really display his medical expertise and how he figured out these things. It all just seems like I didn't like to look at that kid.
No, he has a
and
grudge.
then he's right somehow. So you're like, well, what the fuck is that?
Propaganda.
Like, if there would have been some cutbacks to like anything, or him displaying through words anything other than he's evil. Because like all the words that he does say are like, he hasn't talked in 15 years. These mutes, you know about them. Like, that's kind of it. Oh, he sits there motionless, and I know he's evil. Dead's eyes, like a shark's eyes.
Something.
Like, what?
No, it's, yes, you would have liked a story about, like, oh, he's in the asylum, and he bit out someone's eyes or something.
He's killed 6 patients. He's tried to escape 5 times. Like, something that lets you do something.
He's in the highest security prison that looks like a giant checkerboard.
When he was 6, he killed his sister. We put him into the program. 3 years later, we thought he was rehabilitated. He was taken in by a nice family. He killed 6 orphans that day. It's like he came back out. He bit a like on like something.
And
like,
he killed every orphan who lived in that shoe. We thought he was ready. It had been 10 years. We thought he was ready, and then we deployed him into Sokovia, where
we dropped him in the jungles of Costa Rica, where he fought off all the drug dealers. And single-handedly, the war on drugs was won that day.
But the only person who was able to stop him was Arnold Schwarzenegger and his band of gorillas.
Almost as ballsy as like the smoking and driving up to the parents is the whole thing like, we're in someone else's house. We know that the kid's not here. Let's just go to the parents' house and smoke there and do it.
Then we'll just talk a little, and then Annie will distract Lindsay. That's when we go upstairs to the first bedroom on the left. You got it?
Like, I don't know about you, but like every parent's house growing up, like if ever you jumped on the bed because you're little and that's what you did, they always had a weird way of folding their sheets and stuff. You could never put it back the way it was. And like especially like sex, which can lead to stains and all kinds of weird shit, and the smoking, which leaves a smell. Very, very ballsy to do.
My hope is that everyone smokes, so it's fine.
And it is a time where that's certainly possible, yes.
But yes.
But you can't make that bad.
There seems to be a huge, and I wonder if that's meant to be a part of it that's been lost in translation, where it's like, hey, we get to go fuck in your mom's bed, sweet, and like they hide, and like that's that.
Well, yeah, like, he even jokes like we're all gonna do it. Oh,
yeah,
ravage her, and she'll ravage us, and I'll ravage both of you.
Don't rip my blouse; it's expensive, idiot.
Then you rip my clothes off. Then we rip Lindsay's clothes off. Yeah, I think I got it.
Totally.
We'll do a whole thing, and that's when they thought the kid was going to be there,
which I appreciate. But yeah, I think that's supposed to make it like a more grave sin. Like, oh, you've despoiled your parents' bridal bed.
And that is kind of Mike's thing. Like, oh, you had sex. I'm going to kill you. Oh, you had sex. I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
It's by and large
happening.
How he does things. Yeah. And that's a horror movie thing just in general anyway.
I know this.
Are you dumb? Do you do drugs? Are you having premarital sex? You're going to die. Like, that's a thing.
Yes, I know that, but I need to see I need to see Mike sparing someone.
Oh, Mike, evil.
Oh, the power of evil. You think the power of evil lets him know?
Oh, yeah.
Does he have a list
of
who's naughty?
He checks it twice.
And there's just a list of who's naughty. There's no nice list with Mike. He just
likes to be, cut, measure twice, cut once.
We didn't measure! We didn't measure!
How did that dumb bitch get locked in the laundry room? I don't even understand how that lock worked. Because the kid comes to save her and just turns the knob like... like, it unlocks it. So it is a lock that locks from the outside.
Lindsay!
You think like sex stuff for the parents?
It's a laundry room, so yeah.
Okay. Now we're talking.
We turned your room into a sex dungeon!
I didn't catch that. I don't know if I should say. It might just, old houses had knobs.
But it's not even an old, it is an old house, but it's a weird laundry room that's like in the backyard. Like you go to like a different area for, like, I guess it's probably the back of the garage or
Did
something.
someone die there? Why are we in that scene? I forget about this scene.
That's where she had to get naked to wash her clothes.
Oh, I thought that was in the kitchen. She puts the clothes in the oven and stuff.
You bake it at 390 for 25 minutes.
390? I get to use the 9 button on my oven? That's crazy.
Back in the day, it was just a knob.
Oh,
no button.
It was shook it, and you're cooking.
Oh yeah.
I think this movie actually, like, part of my appreciation is imagining the scene in Scream where they're watching it.
Jamie, look behind you. Look behind you. Turn around. Behind you.
Because the vibes were completely consistent, and I kind of love that. Because it is just, you're just sitting there, and wait, no, look, it's about to happen. Like something's about to happen or whatever.
Here comes another. Hearing.
Ooh! Yes!
Predictable.
And otherwise it's just and it's just doing its thing, it's just in the background. Like, I think functions really well as that type of movie.
Yeah.
Because it's classic, and everyone's like, oh, it's classic, you can't make fun of it. It has a little...
And it's a movie you could totally have on, like, in a party setting and like talk through almost the whole thing, and it wouldn't change the movie almost at all.
No.
Like, none of the dialogue matters.
And when everybody sees the weird, he's wearing a sheet like a ghost part, they're all going to be like, what the fuck, and laugh at it and stuff.
Where's my beer? Well, can't you answer me?
Yeah. I forgot that was even in there. This movie's ridiculous.
I like and hate when Laurie's like, I'll open the window and then I'll hide in the closet, so he'll think I went out the window. And I'm like, yeah, or you could go out the window. Like, what does it benefit you to be in the closet?
You're thinking too small.
I guess.
You gotta think big. You gotta give him the slip.
That only works when you're like, oh, we're trapped in this blah, blah.
Yeah.
I'll open this door and go that way. Like, so he goes down that hallway, and now, like, we have minutes between it. But if you're outside, you can just be free and go.
Was it high up, or was it on the
second floor?
Yeah.
Like, higher than she was. But she was already pretty high.
No, she was hashtag 420 blaze it. Does the whole thing take place in one day? Is she still a little high?
Well,
it is one day, right?
Well, there's...
not the intro or whatever. Yeah.
It's pretty much, I think, is it the day before Halloween for a minute, and then it's Halloween? Pretty much 20...
It's like that
I would say
night,
24 hours, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's it.
Oh. Well, we had a good run.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
She got stuck in the window. She'll be right here.
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition, now it's only us. Our expert staff opinions you can really trust. Come and browse our aisles for the movies that you love and know. Stop by Cannibal